So the next person I want to introduce is Leigh Belcher. Some of you may know Leigh. I've had the privilege of knowing Leigh for a few years now, and have the extra privilege now of actually working with her. I'm going to let Leigh introduce herself, as she's wearing two hats today. Thank you, Leigh.
Thank you, Liz. Yeah, as Liz explained, I'm actually here with two hats on today. I'm coming to you, first of all, as a cancer patient myself and a carer. I received a diagnosis of breast cancer back in 2019. Right at the end of my husband's life, I was actually caring for him. He was dying of a brain tumour, brain cancer. So I'm speaking to you from that remit. But I was also working as a lecturer teaching sociology and social research, and have become actively involved in a number of the NHS work streams now. I'm currently studying for my master's in social research methods at UCL, which is why I'm also going to be speaking to you as a researcher in the second part of the presentation. And you know, I really got involved with Lisa with the research evaluation, because not only have I got the research experience, but I've got the personal lived experience of cancer. So we felt that that was a really empowering way of enabling patients to actually run the evaluation for this research. So speaking to you first as a patient and as a carer, I know that I didn't receive a cancer care review. My husband died of cancer, and I'm not aware that he received a cancer care review. And many of the patients that I have the privilege to speak to in everyday life, I know are also unaware if they've received one, or believe that they haven't received one. And this is why this training and this evaluation that we are running is so significantly important. When you receive a diagnosis of cancer, there is complete and utter shock at that point. You go into fight or flight mode. That word is not the word that you want to hear. And you are completely focused on survival at that point. So your ability to take on any new information, to think rationally about anything in those circumstances, completely flies out of the window. You resort to your primal brain, where you can take on very little information. And that's normally around the stage when you're ejected from the consultant's office, having needed to obtain the information that you actually needed. But you need time to assimilate this information. You need time to understand the implications of this for yourself, for the people that you love, for the family all around you. And you need time to decide upon the questions that you need to ask. You also need time to actually understand the treatment plan that's ahead of you, and to actually start to undergo that treatment, so you can start to really get a grasp on the implications that that's going to have on you. I think the view amongst people who haven't had experience of cancer is that when people are treated and it's successful, then fantastic, you are cured. But what we actually forget is that the treatment itself can generate enduring problems for the patient, and people have to learn to adapt to a new normal, and they don't have all of the information to enable them to do that. There are some people who will stay in treatment for a very long time and have to manage this condition for the rest of their life. And they need to really fully comprehend the implications of that. And there are those who will die of this disease. And these groups also still need significant support. It might be of a different type, but they still need this involvement, this control, empowerment over their own lives. And that's what I believe is the benefit of the cancer care reviews. They are there to actually inform and therefore empower patients. At a point in the diagnosis, at a stage in the treatment where the patient is much better able to process new information, to assimilate new data. And if it's done well, it can actually be transformative in supporting people to live well, either beyond their cancer treatment or with their cancer treatment, or to the end of their life, to enable the patients to start to take control over their own condition and to regain some control over their lives, which has been fully surrendered to the medical profession. So I thought long and hard about cancer care reviews and the overall benefits of running this new format. What would be the benefits of running it in a group setting, and what would be the benefits of running it online? When we think about the group setting, many of the patients that I've spoken to, and as I say, I've had the privilege to meet a number of patients now who really do analyse and rationalise their experiences and can verbalise well how they think this situation could be improved for them. And lots of patients often report that they feel very lost and alone in the system during their treatment. And a group setting, I believe, will allow patients to share their experiences with others who are in a similar situation. We know when we connect with other human beings, when people open up and share, we form a better level of connection. And we find that the experiences are similar, we find we have things in common, we can share even more easily. And it's really empowering to be able to ask questions, not just of medical practitioners, but of people who've been where you have been, who've walked the same path that you have walked. And it's likely that those people will have come up against the same problems that you've come up against, will have come up with some solutions or some workarounds of their own that you aren't aware of and actually might be beneficial for you. Conversely, it allows patients the opportunity to offer insight to other participants, because you may be a bit ahead of where those other patients are in their journey. You may have found some ways around difficult areas, difficult problems, such as, the consequences of your treatment, the difficulties of dealing with work and a cancer diagnosis, and how you maintain family life. The after effects of treatment, all of these things you can provide support to others. And that is a very empowering thing for patients, to be able to help other people through the same circumstances. In a group setting, you may not really want to discuss some issues. They may be embarrassing, they may be difficult for you to raise. But if somebody else then raises that, you still get to benefit from that interaction, from that information. You may find that somebody in the group raises a point that you've actually forgotten about, because there are many facets to this treatment. There are many implications for an individual's life, and you can't remember them all at every point in time. So it can be very useful for the group setting to actually prompt other patients. And a lot of patients will feel intimidated to ask questions directly of medical professionals. The answers may be at a level that they can't understand, or they may feel that they are challenging medical professionals. The group setting enables people to discuss this with other human beings. And it also reduces the obligation on that individual to speak. If they're not comfortable speaking at all, they can comfortably just choose to listen, but still really benefit from those interactions. Lots of patients have expressed a wish to me to receive emotional support, and a group setting really provides multiple opportunities for that, to establish empathy with others going through the same process, to establish empathy with practitioners, and to maybe forge ongoing bonds with other patients, a continuing support network. The group setting also will allow people to potentially access information they may not have thought to ask about, or may not have even been aware existed, because somebody else will raise that question, and you as professionals can direct them, signpost them to the correct information, to further services that they can access. And even when patients have got very differing needs, they have this universal disease which binds them together in a shared experience. So the group setting can still provide really effective peer support. I then thought about, well, what are the benefits of doing this online rather than face to face? Online still offers a social gathering opportunity. We know the participants can be safe in their own home, but benefit from being a member of a group, having that connection with others. Patients have to continuously visit clinical settings, and it becomes an ambition in your life to avoid going into clinical settings wherever possible. So every opportunity to remove the patient from the clinical setting, in my mind, is a positive one. And as I say, you know, online, in the online world, if the group forges a connection or individuals find other individuals they connect with, they can continue to keep in contact with them after the CCR has taken place. It also means that family members, friends can support them in a safe environment at home. And we now know that, you know, we have adapted to the COVID situation. So many more people are able to be online effectively in a way they may not have been before. And there's an inbuilt resilience to this, because we see again some rising, you know, with this new Omicron variant in the news, that this will not impede this process. Virtual online group CCRs will still be able to continue regardless of whatever initiatives the government brings in. So that's my feelings on the importance of CCRs and the value that you will actually be bringing to so many humans that are managing their lives and their families with this disease. Thank you very much. I think I'm passing on to Deepak now, is that correct?